Leslie Herrick, and I am a new city council person for the city of Dearborn. I also work for the Dearborn Public Schools in the Department of Communications.
How does it feel to be in the city council this year?
I'm really excited to be working for Dearborn City Council this year in particular because we've got a lot of good, exciting things going on here in Dearborn. One of those is that we are having a lot of building development, and if you drive down Michigan Avenue, our main street here in West Dearborn, you see that Ford Motor Company is investing in a lot of business properties here. And so that's going to make good things happen for people that own property here. It'll bring our property values up, so your house will be worth more if you own a home. And it's going to give us more places to go shopping and out to eat and to see new things and participate in new activities because of all the business development that's happening here. So I'm really excited that as being on City Council, I get to be part of helping promote that.
How do you feel about being elected?
I'm honored. It's a lot of work to be elected, to work on a campaign, and a couple of the main things you have to do is you have to meet lots and lots of people. So that you do that by going out to events and talking on camera and getting your picture taken. But a lot of it's just going to people's houses and knocking on their door and introducing yourself and saying, I'm running for whatever the job is. In this case, it's Dearborn City Council. And saying, can I tell you a little bit about myself and why you should vote for me and why I'd be a good representative for you on City Council working on your behalf.
How long do you plan on being in City Council?
Well, the term of office for which I was elected is 4 years. So every 4 years, all of our city council people are up for election again. There are 7 people who are on city council, and often if you've already been on council and you run for office, people kind of know who you are already, so you're likely to get voted in again. But if somebody retires or moves on to another position, wants to run for another job, those seats open up, as we say, and that gives new opportunities for new people to get involved in city council.
What do you do at your job?
The main job of the people that serve on Dearborn City Council is managing the budget of the city. And now how that works is, you know about the mayor, right? We have Mayor O'Reilly. Mayor O'Reilly and the staff at our city hall work in the Dearborn Administrative Center now, the new building that they work in. The people that work there set the budget. They figure out what do we need to do our jobs to serve the residents next year and the years ahead, and how much is it going to cost. And they figure out how much it's going to cost, and then they come to City Council and they ask, can we spend the funds on these things? And the City Council asks lots of questions to make sure that, that they're giving us all the information we need to make an informed decision. And then we say yes or no. You can spend the taxpayers' money, because it's the taxpayers who pay in to spend this money to benefit our city. So that's the biggest job of the City Council, is managing that budget and making those important decisions that will benefit as many residents as possible. By spending money on things that make our city better, we make the community better. For example, have you ever been to the Dearborn pools, any of the pools outside, or the Performing Arts Center?
I've been to some of the pools and splash pads.
Okay, those are funded by city tax dollars. So if your parents own a house, or if you rent and your rent goes, part of it that goes to the taxes that pay for things like our parks and our pools and the playground equipment and the splash pads. So that's one of the things that I help to make sure happen to make things better for you living here in Dearborn.
What do you do for Dearborn Schools?
For the Dearborn Schools, I work in communications, and I'm really glad you asked, because one of the things the communications department does is videos that go on our website and on our channels for the cable television for the Dearborn Public Schools. But I did bring you this that I wanted to show to you. This is a new newsletter that I help write, and it's called The First Bell. Do you know why it's called The First Bell? Take a guess. Do you ever hear a bell?
Oh yeah, the first bell at Dearborn Schools.
Yeah, the first bell at Dearborn Schools. So this is the first bell, so it's sort of like the first place you can go to find information about what's happening in our school district. And so this is a brand new newsletter. This is actually the 3rd issue. And in it, we have all kinds of things that are happening that involve our students, and activities and things that are coming up. And in it, we also have these QR codes, so that if you have like a smartphone, you can scan the QR code and go and find more pictures and more information about things that are happening in the Dearborn Public Schools. And the way that we're sending this out to people, because it goes, we want our families who have students in the schools to know about what's going on, but we want everybody in Dearborn to know what the schools are doing. So tell your parents, watch for the first bell in the mail.
What inspired you to do this?
I've always liked being involved with projects that make my community better. Since I was your age, I was involved in scouting when I was at Lindbergh. I went to Lindbergh Elementary School, and I was in scouting all the way through high school. And I was involved with the City Beautiful Commission, the Junior City Beautiful Commissioners. Every school has a couple. I was one of those for a while I was at Lindbergh. And I've always enjoyed doing things where I can make an impact and see how I can help others in my community. I wanted to work for the Dearborn schools because it's really important to me, public education and giving students an opportunity to do the things you want to do, to find out what you like and what you might want to do in your career when you grow up. So I wanted to work for the schools. I worked for the parks when I was in high school, the recreation department at the city of Dearborn. Over the years, I said, I want to work at City Hall. I think that'd be really neat. And so I've been able to use all these communication skills in planning fun events and things like that that I like to do, but I'm able to help other people by doing them too.
How hard was it to campaign?
It's a lot of work. And also you have to ask them, what's important to you. When I come to your door, if you and your mom or your dad or whoever you're living with answers the door, I'll tell about me, but then I'll say, hey, why do you like living in Dearborn? What would you like to see next year and the years ahead that make it a good place for you to live and raise your family? You also have to work well with others, just like in school when you're working on a project like making a video. You have to work well with others as you work on a campaign, because you can't do it all by yourself. You have to find other people who have skills and time and believe in you, and you have to ask them for the help. And sometimes it's hard to ask for help, but getting elected is really, it's a team project, just like putting together a video is. You need to find people who will help you get to the end goal of getting elected so that you can do the job to serve people.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was in elementary school, I wanted to be a teacher, but then I found out there was a career called public relations, and I would be able to do all the things that I kind of did with scouting over the years, planning events, and in scouting it was planning campouts and learning how to speak in front of people, that kind of thing. I did that with the scouts. I found out I could do that and be paid in a career called public relations. I did all that as a volunteer, and I found out I could have a career in that, and so I switched from elementary when I was young and wanted to be a teacher. I kind of shifted gears and used a lot of those same skills to go into public relations.
What changes do you want to make to Dearborn schools?
In my role with City Council, I'm lucky because I can work with people who work for the schools and the school board, and I can talk to them. When I hear residents talk about things they'd like to see done differently with the schools, in my role with communications with the schools, I can do communications to ask people to get their feedback on what they'd like to see our schools doing. I think we have a pretty cool school district as it is anyway. My son is a junior at Dearborn High, and we've had a really great time as he's grown up. And he went to Duval, and he went to O.L. Smith, and he went to Bryant. So we know lots of families and lots of students from all these schools. And I think we've felt that Dearborn Schools is a really good place to be for us right now, as a parent, speaking as a parent. So I think I'd ask you, what would you change about the Dearborn schools?
Well, what I would do is I'd probably make them bigger, because some of the classes have a lot of kids, and they have some kids that are they have to move around the kids. Last year there was this I think it was a second and third grade split, because people need to make schools bigger, because it's kind of hard having a bunch of kids in one class, because it's harder to get all the materials and pay for it maybe. So I think that the schools and there should be more classes of grades so that more kids can enroll into one school.
That's a good suggestion. Were you in a split class?
In second grade, I was in the first, second split, and I was in the first grade, so there was a lot of kids in my class.
Yeah. I was in a split class when I was in second grade with first and second graders a long time ago. And it was great because I got to be in the class with my best friend because she was a year younger than me, so we got to be in the same class. That was really cool. But it's interesting that you bring that up because that is a big issue that the Dearborn Public Schools and our families are all talking about right now is we have a lot of kids in high school. They're really crowded, and so we're asking parents and asking experts who look at statistics and how many students we think we'll have in 5, 10 years from now. And we're trying to figure out what the best answer is to reduce those class sizes. So you're kind of on top of the issues there. That's important. Are you interested in education as a career yourself?
I've been more interested in studying animals and wildlife because that's kind of what I like to do a lot.
Okay, that's awesome.
Do you have any advice for young kids like me?
The number one thing that I tell my son and I tell everybody is make good choices. You can decide, like right now you might say I want to work with animals, which is great, and you may stick with that. Or you may decide you want to do something completely different, especially when you, like later in high school, and as you have even the experiences you're having with doing the videos right now, you're finding out what you like, and you may change your mind, and that's okay. But the important thing is always make good choices. In the long run, you'll end up being more successful if you make wise choices, even from when you're little.
What plans do you have for the future in City Council?
Well, for right now, I already know a lot of the things that are happening in our city because of the jobs that I've been doing over the years. But immediately, I'm just really excited about the things that we're working on for this year to make the city better. And one of those I kind of mentioned, but didn't come right out and say it, and that's our new pool. The Ford Woods, we're going to have a big new pool at Ford Woods Park over by the ice arena. There's going to be a new pool that has slides and water features in it, more like what you see at Levagood. So in addition to the small pools that we have in the neighborhoods, we're going to have a big new pool over there. So I'm really excited that I get to be part of watching that develop as I am on City Council.
Well, thank you for letting me interview you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me here today. It was a pleasure to meet you.